Hi guys, how y'all doing? Welcome back to my channel. It is so good to be back. I know I have disappeared for a minute, but come on, let me tell y'all what has been going on since my last video. So let's see. I am working on so many things, right? The cooking competition that I was in, we reached the semifinals. I did not make it to the semifinals, but I am so proud. I'm so happy that so many people actually voted for me and I was able to make it as far as I did. So thank you guys so much. Okay, on to the next thing. Work is crazy. The flower shop, it's picking back up. Summer is the slow season, or so we've learned, and we have another week or so and we'll be fully moved into our new space. Lewis is being homeschooled. So many people message me, ask me how Lewis is doing. He's doing great. Right now he has a chronic cough for the last 2 weeks. It's dry. I think it's asthma because I am an asthmatic and so is his father, but we don't know yet. So I will have to just wait and see what those test results are. I am at work right now in the city. I am on my lunch break, so I said let me take this time out to make a quick video, right? Because the guy who manages my channel, he's like, you need to create your videos, work on your content, find the time. He's like so bossy, but I love him. Shout out to Ree. So two things I wanted to talk about. Because in my last video, I was talking about how people love to talk about side hustles. And when you read these articles about people and their side hustles, you're just reading it like, so what is it that you did? It's a waste of time to read those articles because they never really give you any information. Like they're sharing, but they're not really sharing, and I don't like that. Furthermore, I don't like the term of side hustles. I've shared that with you guys. I think it's just a term that makes it looks like you want more than you already have, for me, okay? And it's really just the grind and what you need to do to survive, because cost of living is so high. So for people who are watching this who might have space at home, and I know, don't watch this video and talk about I'm not a homeowner, okay? So I don't have space, because trust me, I don't have any space. But say you have a 2-bedroom or a 3-bedroom and one of them is only like just taking up room, you know, you just have stuff there, maybe no one's using it, or maybe you could, you know, cramp your daughter or your son style because they're younger. There are two things that I have personally done. One, you know, short-term rental in New York City, they track you, and it's not allowed anything less than 30 days. So I don't want brother whoever to be watching me and clock what I'm doing. So what I do is what I don't think a lot of people actually know about is you can take in international students, right? So my husband and I have taken in previously, and we were going to do it again this year, and then we realized that it didn't fit our schedule. We took in international students, and they usually live with you for the remainder of high school. So sometimes they will come in at 9th grade or 10th grade. Most of these kids are coming from China. And then you hear China, you're like, cool. You know, right now in this climate, you're probably thinking COVID. In a different climate, you're probably thinking God knows what else, I don't know. But it was such an incredible experience for us. And I remember when I first brought it to my husband, he was like, are you crazy? You want to bring a stranger in here from a different part of the world? Are you insane? But when I was looking for like a second job or something I can do after work or before work or on the weekends, there was nothing that actually fit the schedule. And so I had to, someone keeps opening the door. And so I had to find something that actually works, that wasn't going to take away not only from my full-time job, but from the fact that the time works, right? And so I was just on Craigslist browsing. Let me tell you, I know a lot of scams is on Craigslist, but I have found almost every single job I have ever had, except for the 2 law firms that I work, on Craigslist, and it's never turned out to be a scam, and it's always turned out to be a great job in the professional world. So, that's what Craigslist has done for me. So I saw it on Craigslist, had no idea what it was. I applied. Someone reached back out to me. Apparently, it was an agency, and they explained to me what it was, and we had to fill out an application and submit a family picture. And the application was a little extensive. I was annoyed filling it out. As a matter of fact, I'm annoyed filling out anything that's too long. But I sent it in with a family picture. They need pictures of the house, the street, and the cross street. So we did that. They did a background check after we got, matched with a student. And you're almost always going to get matched with a student because there's so many families trying to get their kids in schools over here or into the country, I don't know. And so they came over and they did a sit-down interview with the people from the agency. And we got matched with a teen boy, whose name is Frank. His actual name is Junkai, but his English name was Frank. And he spoke very little English. So in that moment when he arrived after his long flight, I realized that his parents must be fucking terrified that they sent their only child to America, on the other side of the world, to some strangers, right? And I can't imagine what that would be like for me. I can't even imagine actually doing it. But they took a leap of faith and they did it. And they're dependent on hosts. They call them hosts, people like me and people like you who will consider doing it, who get a stipend to open up their homes to their kids and treat them like kids. So we put Frank in the basement because that's where we had the space. We gave him a room down there. We built it out for it to be really nice, and he had his own little private bathroom. He was such a good kid. He was so good, and he liked to dance with the girls. They were much younger, maybe like 8 and or 9, and he liked to listen to, back then, Justin Bieber. He was such a good kid, and he loved Jamaican food. He loved Jamaican food. And I would cook like chicken feet, and I would cook like tripe. And he's like, oh my God, you eat this? And I'm like, yes. And of course, he's looking for the translation in his phone, and he's telling me that his grandmother makes those type of food, and he would love to eat it. He'd eat a whole bowl of like chicken feet. I don't know who's calling me. So it just, it was a good experience. So he was with us for about 9 months. We got a stipend of $1,250. The requirements was that we drop him at school in the morning and pick him up in the afternoon and provide 3 meals a day. Well, let me tell you something. After taking him to school on the first morning of high school, he did not want us to take him to school. After that, he was just like, oh, I think I can find my way. So he found his way the very first morning. Mind you, a kid that spoke almost no English found his way from St. Albans to a school out in Elmhurst, by public bus and public train. And he made friends. And then just for good measure, I tailed him one morning. He knew I was in the background somewhere just to make sure he got on the right bus and the right train. But that picking up and dropping off is something they require. You agree to it. When the kids come here, they do not want to be picked up and dropped off. They actually do want their own space to be a regular, normal American high school teenager. And that was the experience. We got $12.50 a month. He was not there for breakfast. He was up and out. Okay, he was very good at getting up and getting dressed and getting ready for school. Didn't eat any breakfast. Might grab a roll or a piece of bread and he's out. He was not there for lunch, and he's only there sometimes for dinner. So he had family in Flushing, and so sometimes he'll go have dinner with them, and then he'll be there on the weekend. He studied a lot. He talked to his parents. He hung out with us. We took him to, family get-togethers and stuff. But you can apply to be a host family. They're always looking for family in Queens. Sometimes they're looking for families in Manhattan. But right now, I know that they're in need of families, host families in Queens for some kids going to school in Long Island somewhere. I forgot exactly what town in Long Island. They're still paying only $12.50, but it's not a payment per se because they're asking you to do it as a favor. So it's a stipend, and it helped us. It helped me out like a lot. So I thought of doing it again because it was minimal work and minimal effort, and we enjoyed having him there. We were learning a new language. We learned so many different things about their culture. It was a good learning experience for both of us. He calls us his first American family. He actually just graduated from Columbia University. He went on to become an actuary. He just graduated, and his parents came for the graduation. So he still keep in touch via like Facebook and Instagram. I haven't seen him in a couple of years in person. Actually, but he never fails to say hello. So there's that one thing that you can do. You could be a host family to international students. They do ask you if you mind taking in like a second grader, or if you would mind like someone older, like someone going to college or post-secondary education. And then that's just easy breezy. You only need to provide room and board, right? Collect your stipend and mind your business. There is also traveling nurses and traveling professionals. So I heard about traveling nurses and traveling professionals from my neighbor. When I told him that we were looking to rent a home because we're looking to move from New York City, he said Airbnb, and I said, I don't think I live in an area where Airbnb is going to be so popular because I live in a two-fare zone, which means that you have to get on the bus to go to the subway. And he said, oh, it would still be popular in Airbnb. Then again, I didn't want to be on Airbnb because I don't want to be on a website where the city is tracking me and how much money they think I potentially made. But anyway, that's the story for another day. So he told me, he said, well, you could rent a travel nurses. And I said, travel nurses? Never thought of that. So I went and I looked it up, and I absorbed all the information that I could about like renting to like travel nurses and travel professionals. And I showed it to my husband. I spoke to him about it, and he said, you know what, let's test it out. We have an empty room. So we have a 3-bedroom house. The smallest room was empty because my husband's twins live in South Carolina with their mother, and they only come up for some holidays. So I said, okay, the room has been here empty. Let's rent it out. So we went out, got mattress covers, new pillows, sheets, stuff, because the room has to be furnished, right? We bought a TV, a mini fridge. We invested about $500 in the room between the sheets and the towels, hangers, an ironing board, a television, a mini fridge, mattress cover, and stuff like that. And I put a little box with like a shoe rack and storage for their clothes. I took some pictures and we put it on Furnish Finder. You actually have to pay to list in Furnish Finders. Now, don't forget that I told y'all that you can't make money without putting in money, okay? And this is one of those situations. I think I paid like $74 to host my property on Furnish Finder, and then I think I paid like $96 or vice versa for them to make me verified, right? Which is basically to make the person renting from me feel better that Furnish Finder checked me out and I wasn't a criminal. They don't actually really do that because it was like 1, 2, 3. At least I assume so. I could be wrong. So disclaimer there. Posted the room, and within 2 months we got a hit. So travel nurses, doctors, executives from Google, people from different walks of life, construction workers, architects, they travel for work, and they look for places that they can stay in the city that they are going to. And usually they want a private room. Sometimes they ask for a private bathroom. Sometimes they require a washer and dryer, private entrance. Sometimes they're a little hoity-toity and they really, really should be on Airbnb. But sometimes, and a lot of the times, they just want a clean, quiet room that's furnished, shared bathroom, shared kitchen space that they want to use. Now, our first applicant actually said she called COVID, and I sent her deposit back. And then the second person that reached out to us about the room, she came and she took a look at it. I had a feeling she wasn't going to rent it because I think she was looking for more than what was there. So she's would be another Airbnb person. But the other person, like maybe 2 weeks after that, reached out to me frantically. She's saying, listen, I'm coming to the area in a month. I saw your room listed. This is the room I want. What do you need from me? Here's a picture of myself and my husband. Please contact me at this number. So we video called. I called first and then we video called. I don't take any money upfront from anybody. After that first applicant where I had to refund, I was like, okay, so when you get here, we will do, a check and sign a lease for people who want to sign a lease. I had a lease drawn up, but they're there for at least 30 days. So they're coming into town to work at hospitals for 3 months. So now you have 3 months of guaranteed rent. So if when I looked into my area on the map on Furnish Finder and I saw how many people in the neighborhood were renting out their spare room or basement apartment on Furnish Finder and charging like regular rent, was insane to me. It was insane with no hassle. So I'm like, oh my God, why do I not know about this? So I started doing it. Of course, I tell people, I was like, hey, I know you got a spare room, put your shit on Furnish Finder. A lot of times people don't do it because they don't want to be bothered. But guys, you got to do something before something does you. So if you're Jamaican and you're watching this, Jamaicans say, do something before something bother you. That's the saying. So you have to actually take action for something to happen. And the action that I took was to sign up to Furnish Finder, spend some money, and I have a tenant now who's going on her 5th month. So she was here for 3 months at a hospital in Long Island, and they asked to extend her contract, and then she asked us if we would extend her lease. We said yes, and we wish we could get two more tenants like her. She's leaving in October to go to California, but if she don't like the contract she sees in California, she says she's going to ask, because they're already asking her in Long Island to extend another 3 months. So, and she consistently pays her rent on time every month. We hardly see her. Okay, she's on the night shift now. She goes to work in the evenings. She comes in the mornings, maybe about 8:30. She says hello. She might play with the dog, and it's our dog. And she say goodnight. She goes to bed, and I don't see her again until she's going to work. The only time she actually really comes down, sometimes if it's her day off and she's going out to get something to eat, she'll come down and she'll sit with us and we'll talk about politics, religion, work, everything. She feels like family, like I've known her forever. I just met her. And that has been a big help. I wish I had the space that I could rent it out more. So I know sometimes when we think about things, we're just like, I don't want to do it. I don't like people in my space. I don't like strangers in my space. But you're in the space of strangers every day on New York City subway, on the bus with their ass brushing up against your ass, titty for titty, forehead to forehead. You can tolerate somebody being in your house. And it's like, they're going to have to share a bathroom. Yes. If anyone who knows me watching this, and I say like know me, you really know me. There's 2 things I don't like to share, my bathroom and my kitchen. It's just a hard no. And she doesn't use the kitchen. She said she might, but she doesn't. I always offer dinner, and sometimes she eat dinner with us. Sometimes I make her breakfast, but it's so rare. Like in the almost 5 months that she's been there, I think she ate breakfast twice, and I think she ate dinner like 5 times. And the kids love her. When she's off for more than like 3 days, she'll go home to PA. And I think after she leaves, we'll still be friends with her. Like, but I am saying that to say those are two income producing things that you can do, that you don't have to actually work hard, and you could still go about your day job. And New York City is not in your business. And yes, there's an upfront cost of about $160, but it's worth it, because you can go on there, you can set your parameters to what the type of room that you're renting and what the shared space looks like. What your ask is for rent. Is it non-negotiable? Are you asking cleaning fees? There's all type of fees up there. I don't charge any fees. I don't charge any fees. I actually don't expect them to clean up the common space, and actually they don't really use the common space. In the time that I've been on Furnished Finder, I have picked and refused the type of tenants, now that I got a feel for it, that I want in my home. Right? It's when I look at their requests for a room, and if it has certain criteria, it's a no. No. Like, you're asking to live in someone's home, and you just have too many boxes that you want checked. So you can also do that. So I am going to drop the links below for Furnished Finder and for Cambridge, who I was working with. There's also an English tutor. It's not a big money maker, but you know, it's lunch money, where you're doing conversational English with people that live abroad to teach them English, and you work per hour, and I think it pays maybe like $10.10 an hour, and then you depending on how many hours you put in, the next pay phase is to get 16 an hour, and then I think 24 an hour. And the more you do it, and the more time you put in, and the more known you are in the community, and the more people you can talk to people from all around the world. Just conversational English, and for them to practice their English talking to you. So there goes your international pen pal, guys. Coming up for you, I am letting you know that I'm working on some content, which is why this content is late. And it's taking time, it's a lot, but please, 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 bear with me. I am working on it. I cannot wait to show you guys. I am so excited. And have a great weekend. I'll see you guys soon. Bye.